Mercure in Geelong for the Night of Nights for the Sprint Car Racing Association of Victoria's annual presentation banquet for 2013-2014, and a couple of interstate raiders have joined us, namely Dubbo's Jeremy Cross. Let's cut that, Bailey. We're going to start again.
No,
Live TV as we've got it.
Hey mate, how usual?
Yeah, good, good. What's your name again? Jeremy?
Playing the part, Latrobe, Shaun Dobson. Boys, it's a good opportunity to catch up with two that have travelled. It's such a unique story. It's very similar. Opposing states, of course. One from Dubbo, New South Wales, one from Latrobe, Tasmania, but both with the same goal, to come to Victoria and take out, ultimately, Shaun, you did that, the Essendon Ford Sprint Car Track Championship, which was awarded last night at Avalon Raceways banquet. And then, of course, tonight's Eureka Garage and Sheds banquet. Pleasing result, I'm sure, particularly for you. We'll get to Jeremy's season in a moment, but I'm sure you're pleased.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Look, it's something you set out to do at the start of the year, and not always do you live up to it, but yeah, this year was pretty special for me and the team, so yeah, pretty stoked.
Unique that you've had to travel so far. The logistics of doing that and racing for a Warrnambool-based team, I'm sure, probably put more pressure on you than you've ever seen in your career.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty hard. I mean, you're on a plane every weekend coming over, but like you do it for the love of it. So look, it made it much more enjoyable having a great team, and obviously our success was a huge factor. I mean, if you're wrecking gear every week, then it's a lot harder to come back. So very fortunate for that, and yeah, like I say, you can't do it unless you love it.
Crossy, you can relate to that, can't you?
Yeah, for sure.
The travel, though, you're not on an aeroplane, but the travel factor is still there.
Yeah, it is. Like I think our shortest trip this year was 7 hours. The biggest was 15. So it's a bit like Shaun. If you love it, you do it. So
It's not all bad, though, is it? You get plenty of time between yourself and the team to digest, analyse, and make, hopefully, an educated decision as to what you need to do to win races.
Yeah, exactly right. Like between my dad and my crew, we basically work together, except for Dad, obviously. And on the way down, we digest the week's events at work and have a bit of yarn about that. And then on the way home, digest the racing and stuff like that. So it can be good, it can be bad, but end of the day, you've committed to having a run. So yeah, like you just get at it, get after it, and the hours sort of doesn't really matter.
Ultimately, it came down to 3. The missing wheel here, of course, is Brett Milburn, who eventually ran runner-up to Shaun in both the Eureka Series and also the Track Championship at Avalon Raceway. But from 60-plus cars to come down to 3 combatants so late in the season, were you surprised by that?
Yeah, yes and no. Like, I guess it was good. I think it was good too because they all got along fairly well.
They're all good mates. That's the best bit.
Which is unique, isn't it? To be from 3 different states, a Victorian, a Tasmanian, a New South Welshman, common goal to win a major prize, and yet get along so well.
And that's what made it so hard. Like, we all got along so well, so we didn't care who really won because we're such great mates. But then to see what would happen, like I obviously ended up winning and Jeremy Nat had a bad couple of weekends, so it's heartbreaking for me because he's been so good all year, and then you come to that last race and you take it away. It's hard because you feel for these guys because they put in so much effort, and then you're having to sort of soak up all the emotions at the same time, but it can be pretty hard. But
Crossy, you had it slipping through ultimately the grip that you had on the final round of the Eureka Garage and Shed Series. You've had time to think and reflect. Anything you'd do different?
No, not at all. End of the day, we got beat by a better team, 2 better teams, and yeah, like it was the same as when I spoke to you that night. Like, we weren't the better team. We got beat fair and square, and at the end of the day, what we learnt this year, hopefully we can build on for next season and try to eliminate that and keep our consistency for the whole season. But yeah, it's just one of those things, like, that's racing. You can't really sort of dwell on it or carry on about it. You just, we weren't the best team at the end of the season, and we ran 3rd, which is still made out of 60 cars.
Yeah, amazing.
Still chuffed about that.
We talk about the woulda, coulda, shouldas. A night down at Simpson where Brett Milburn crashed. You were one of the first guys there to help chip in, getting back on track. At the time, you were the nearest rivals in the championship as well. What was going through your mind there?
Same thing. It's just we're all mates. Like, if Dobbo had done the same thing, we would have helped. It's just you don't. Me personally, on that night, we only had a 2-man crew, so if that had happened to us, I would have hopefully thought that the same thing would have happened, because we wouldn't have been able to get out there in the same circumstances. So
given the circumstances, you've travelled 10, 12 hours to be there. You're more than welcome to park up for 20 minutes and have a rest, let alone go to work on somebody else's car that you're trying to beat.
No, it's just what you do, and that's the camaraderie in the series, and that's why we did have so much fun this season, and the hours really didn't matter, because you make good friends, and we sort of said 6, 7 races out, we're not really. We'd like to win, and that's the goal, but at the end of the day, if we don't win, we know we've still made friends for life and had a really good season. So, stuff like that. You never want to see one of your competitors struggling or have a crash or not make it out to the next race just simply because they didn't have enough hands working on the car. So it was an easy decision. It wasn't really a second thought.
And the same thing when we were both struggling with our race cars, we'd always come back and have a
Yeah,
chat
have a yarn.
about, say, what's your car doing, what's your car doing, and just try and tee things off as much as you're racing against either. Like, your mates, you want to make each other better, and by racing against each other, we had a heap of heat races together, and it just made it more enjoyable, because
like,
it's just fair, it's just fun.
You still never want to see your mate up, running like a busted ass, so it's always good to have that camaraderie and you bounce ideas off each other as to what you can do and what you can't do, or what you think. So,
is it hard to set that apart then when you're running for a $10,000 to win championship and a $20,000 motor vehicle? Do you ever enter into that question posed to both, as to go, I just need to sneak a position or two because it's points in such a healthy prize?
Probably if we come down to the last feature race of the year and we're all starting the top 5 and we had to race side by side for the 30 laps, that would have been a lot harder than what the situation actually unfolded. So if it was that, it would have been pretty hard, but it's like anything, we're good mates off the track, but when you're on the track, you're still racing. You're not going to go out there and deliberately take someone else out for that win. You just want to race fair. And through the year, I can say Jeremy and Brett are the only guys you felt comfortable racing against. And so I'm not going to lie, this is where it is. A lot of guys are the same. You got people that you trust, and you know you can race side by side, and it's just a thing that you can do. You can trust each other, and you know that you can race fairly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We could roll out there for 30 laps, and I know Shaun will race me hard, Brett will race me hard, and a lot of guys will race me hard, but same thing, you just know you can race, they can race you hard, you can race them back, but it's always going to be fair.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Both of you, is it a conscious effort to fit in? As we said, 55 plus cars at rounds, both outsiders, both trying to take the money, both very quick. Is it a conscious decision to fit in, to help your rival, Jeremy? Is that something that crosses your mind, to say, well, I need to fit in, or you don't mind upsetting a few?
I wouldn't say like either of us probably don't like upsetting a few, but as far as fitting in, I think the series, the organisers, the sponsors and the drivers all make us both feel fairly welcome.
Definitely.
So there's sort of no issue as far as trying to fit in. It just sort of, by everyone being so friendly, you sort of can, you don't have to fit in, you're already in.
And it is so easy. You turn up the track, Bailey, everyone says, "G'day, how you going?" You're not turning up and no one talks to you. You just walk straight to your trailer and then drive out and race. Everyone got along so well. You walk down the pit and you talk to every single driver that comes up. Everyone just makes you so welcome. And that's what made the series so good this year, is last few years I have not known hardly any people. This year I've met that many people, Jeremy, Brett, everyone. You can just say g'day to now, and you're having a beer with them tonight and you're celebrating the year.
As outsiders, for want of a better term, are you surprised there's not more coming to race for the prize money and products that we've got up for grabs here in Victoria, namely Eureka Garage and Sheds? Dominic's been fantastic. David Dixon and Essendon Ford with the car. Are you surprised there's not more people from, even let's throw in more South Australians, travel from Adelaide maybe to chase this prize?
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually, as coming from Tassie, you know SRA, we come over and did a few rounds, but doing the whole series, you know how good it is now, and you can go back and tell those people who second guess it all the time and say this is how good it is, and they just don't understand it. And I think it's not until you actually do it that you realise how good it is and how tight-knit community it really is. So I think it's, I think a lot of people you'll find next year will probably come along and start to do it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm surprised more people, say, from New South Wales, don't do it. I understand it is a bit of a logistical nightmare at times, but as far as breaking it up and racing a few rounds every now and then is is pretty good. But the the main thing is the level of competition and the friendliness down here.
Sure.
Like, you can't go past it anywhere you race. Like you've raced in Brisbane and over
definitely.
south and stuff like that, and down here is the best level of competition. Like, and you get, like you said, 60 cars on any given night, and you can throw a hat blanket over the half of them to say who's going to win or who's going to top 5.
And if you finish in the top 10 every night, you know you've had a good run.
Yeah,
Because the
correct.
amount of competitors that come, you've got people coming from World Series, you've got Lindsay coming, James,
Yeah.
Beerley, you've got all these guys coming. So if you can beat them, let alone finish just behind them, you know you've had a good night.
It would also be remiss while we talked about those couple of major people that support Victorian Sprint Car Racing, KTM Australia as well. Any one of the top 10 are in the draw to pick up that beautiful motorbike over there. Crossy with the surname Cross, motocross bike, you'd be almost a Monty for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that's about all I got going for me. I don't know, I didn't think that first place guy could win it.
He's a chance to go straight through. He'll have the brooms out if he takes
I told
out
him
that
I'd sell
KTM.
him to him cheap if I end up picking up. I'm
So
sure we
could
can
be
work
for
out a
sale.
deal.
Yeah, so could be punching the
Well,
balls.
yeah, exactly. I've also been told to look at it if I do win it, so could be dangerous. You might not see me for the rest of the night.
Well, on behalf of the Sprint Car Racing Association Victoria, and I know Eureka, KTM and everybody else involved, we'd like to say thanks for being two of arguably the most exciting talents that we've had in the series this year and making it a three-way battle along with Brett Milburn, Shaun Dobson, Jeremy Cross. Thank you for your time and hope you enjoyed the
No
night
worries,
and the
mate.
season.
I appreciate it, mate. Thanks. Just again, thanks
Thanks
to
to all the
Eureka.
officials and
Everyone's
everyone
put in, made us feel welcome. It's been
everyone
great.
behind the scenes that don't really often get a thing. Thank you and stuff like that. Like, it's just little things like down to the officials that always
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
say good day and thanks and sort of get you on your way and stuff
You're
like
not
that.
treated
So-
like an idiot.
Yeah, exactly
That's the
right.
best
So you've
feedback.
got to thank those guys for all their help. It's a good series to run.
Can we get a hug to finish?
Oh,
Share the love.
Couple of drinks later.
come here, Dave.
Only if you tell me I'm pretty.
Great job, guys.
Thank you. See you guys.
Thanks.